friends, let's talk about extremely important topic, namely huge player. I once stopped saying that only free participants are profitable on crypto market. Exchanges, huge players, and those who can detect huge players. As far as crypto market is not so regulated as stock market, for example, we should understand that there is more space to manipulate the crowd than what huge players usually do. When we see huge consolidation, be sure here the huge participant loads his positions. Huge participant that potentially could participate in the same setup and could spoil your trade by executing your stop losses just to load the positions as he's searching for market orders to execute his very big volume. He is a whale that could manipulate the crowd, spoof and confuse just to load his position, as I said. We are just small players and it's easy for us to load position instantly, right here and right now. It's always enough liquidity for us to execute our orders. But in case of huge players, they really need long consolidation to load position during the period of time, because there is lack of liquidity to load instantly such a huge volume. There are very few market participants to load his limit order, for example. That's why huge one is loading in consolidation. But not every consolidation implies the huge player loading. However, most huge players prefer loading in consolidation, such a paradox. Sometimes the consolidation could be just the result of lack of interest to the instrument or short-term equilibrium between supply and demand. So don't perceive every consolidation as a loading of big guy. Let's go deeper to the huge player psychology. While loading positions, huge player always have to stay inconspicuous for small players. As once placing his very huge limit order, many participants detect his intention and started to long or short from his limit order, using it as a shelter for stop losses. So price will be running away from his limit order. It's failed to be executed and the huge guy finally can forget about successful loading. So he's using small volumes, thousands of tiny limit orders to get lost among ordinary small participants, hiding his real volume. But sometimes we can detect it and join his movement before it started. Let's watch it on practice. Here we see extremely interesting situation. Rose USDT. Before the breakout, when participants were ready to break out, many participants entered longs right here, waiting for the next touch of the level with the upcoming breakout. But the huge player just manipulated the crowd. He started pushing price down by the sales or placing a huge limit order somewhere here, showing participants that it will be extremely hard to break this limit order, and they started to short from this limit order. Finally, the price indeed came down, came deeper, and here by that price, huge player continued his loading, the loading of his positions. Because here, right before the breakout, he failed to load, for example, most part of his position, and he just wanted to do anything just to continue his loading. So he needed much better prices. And what do we see here? The most important thing. The clusters are filling with red color. The delta is extremely red for the last 10 minutes, but the price doesn't go lower anymore. Something absorbs all these sales by the market, something absorbs it and doesn't let price go lower. This is the point where huge player started his loading, because all that sales were executing his buy limit orders. That's why all these sales were absorbed. That's why the price didn't go lower, because it was resisted by huge players' limit orders, buy limit orders. So once again, such limit orders are being executed here, where there is extremely high selling volumes, but the price can't go lower, something holds it. Here we see points of control, here we see extremely red clusters, extremely red delta, but the price can't go lower. So we are starting loading long here, joining the huge participants. It's the sign of loading of huge participants. Please remember this. It's extremely important situation. Finally, how it happened. 4% of movement. We just managed to conduct early loading just by detecting huge player, and 4% of movement we managed to get. Here we see another situation. There was the second touch to extremely strong level with huge potential to catch the pullback from this level. Here we see high volumes of purchases. Here we see green delta. Here we see a lot of green color in clusters, but price can't go higher. It means that here a huge limit order of seller are situated. All these buyers are directing their power not to increase the price, but to execute seller's limit order by market purchases. Here we also see clusters, points of control in clusters, and this is the sign of huge player loading. I closed long position here and opened short. Indeed, we see how the price is getting back. Here we see one more situation, SHIB USDT. The price rolled back right before the breakout, and here we see the loading of huge player red clusters, but price didn't go lower, so it's the sign of loading before the breakout. Look how this situation is working out. We are already in position. Here we see that market participants by that moment already got this situation, and they are keep joining this movement. Huge player maybe 80% completed his loading, and the last part he's continuing to add by the market, just adding by the market not to miss this opportunity before the breakout. Before the breakout, I added some positions through placing buy limit orders, and look at this, how it's working out. Look at the clusters, they are absolutely green. The buyers are prevailing. There was the stop losses execution, and now I started to fix by the market. So I started fixing the position by 100,000 lots. So 50,000 just left to give a chance to that trade. Stop loss was replaced in a break even. So this is how we should detect huge player. Just to load in advance and do it carefully. I hope this video was of great interest for you. Don't forget to subscribe to our free setups channel, where we share our thoughts about the scalping situations. We have quite good and absolutely transparent statistics. You can check it. And finally, visit our website, where you can find information about us, about our core partners, and the information about our individual course. Thank you for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe for our YouTube channel. Stay in profit.